Hey guys, it's Joshua Reviews, and today, well, ladies and gentlemen, today is a special day. By the way, I'm sure you guys saw this shirt last year. I'm going to be wearing it anytime I review some sort of scarecrow-related horror film because, let me just say something really quick before I jump into the review. I fucking love some scarecrow horror films. I mean, there are some dog shit ones. I mean, if you've seen Amityville Scarecrow, you know what I'm talking about. Especially American Scarecrow, which I don't even know why that's the title, but I guess they were like, hey, we need to kind of have, I don't know. Those movies are just shout out by ITN distribution. Doesn't matter. Anyways, I love Scarecrow films. I think Scarecrows as like a horror villain, like antagonist works really good. But there's not a lot of them out there. You get a few here and there, but most of the time it's like a person is dressed up as a scarecrow. It's not really a scarecrow. But that's not the case for this film. Now, I reviewed this back in, I think it was 2019 or 2020, whichever year. That film is Husk. And this is the After Dark original horror film. And if you don't know what that is, I think it was, Lionsgate basically started this horror thing where they let filmmakers, or they bought horror films and they kind of branded it as just like, in this little series, kind of like, it's not like any of the films are connected. It's just like, it's kind of a brand thing. And I saw this back in like 2015. I don't know. It's been a while, but I reviewed this a while back, but I feel like that review needs I need to re-review it, kind of keep things, because my opinion can change, but it hasn't. First of all, next to Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, this is probably my favorite Scarecrow horror film. I think Dark Knight of the Scarecrow has a better story, and I think is a better horror film, but this film was just like, whew. Okay, so this film's not inherently Halloween-oriented. I just love scarecrows, and I think they go great with Halloween. I associate them with Halloween. It's just kind of like how some people like to watch like ghost films during Halloween or movies about witches like Hocus Pocus. I mean, that's a Halloween film because it's Halloween, but you get my point. So Husk is about 5 friends that get stranded in this cornfield, like farmhouse. And while they kind of explore, they get picked off one by this scarecrow. But the longer they stay there, they realize when they get picked off, the spirit that's possessing the field, that's kind of like, roaming the fields, that kind of haunts the fields, it possesses an individual scarecrow one at a time and goes after them, which is something I don't think I've seen before in a scarecrow horror film or just a horror film. So, A+ for originality, or originality. So, this movie was not liked by pretty much anyone. I have yet to hear, it hasn't gained a cult following. No one really talks about it, besides maybe 1 or 2 people that I know liked it. Everyone I've shown this film to says it's just okay. I think that's doing this movie a disservice, man. I still love this film. It is one of my favorite kind of indie horror films. It's not really even indie. It's, but, obviously it's not mainstream, but that doesn't matter. I think that honestly makes it better. So I don't get why people don't like this movie that much. Like, I can maybe see a few points, but, okay, what are things I liked? Because this is a review after all. First of all, I can only imagine people are just gonna critique the characters for making certain decisions. There's a decision a character makes. One of the characters has a girlfriend, and she goes missing, and they try looking for her. And spoiler alert, it's eventually revealed that she died, and he sees her body, and he's like really messed up. He's going through like the stages of grief, but then when she gets possessed to basically be turned into a scarecrow, the one guy sees her and is like, oh my god, she's in here with me. And he's like, what? She's in there with you, so she's alive? So when the characters have a chance to escape, he's like, I'm not leaving until basically we find my girlfriend, because you said, you saw her. And they're like, yeah, but she's dead. And he's like, no, I didn't see it. I need to see it for myself. And I feel like a lot of people would just kind of, see that and be like, oh, that's just idiotic. That's an idiotic decision. But I mean, I don't know. I bought it. I bought it. I totally believe that, he's in this stage of grief and denial. So he has to see it for himself to kind of like figure out whether or not, we can save her. If there's like any sort of chance we can go after her and save my girlfriend. And yeah. So I thought the motivation for staying in the cornfield was pretty good. I don't think a single character makes like a decision that because the one problem I have with horror films is characters making idiotic decisions. That's the one thing I hate the most. Unless there's an excuse for it. And in this case, people would probably have an issue with that, but I don't know. I totally believe that he wouldn't want to leave until, he gets that satisfaction, It's a similar thing to Halloween Kills, where it's like the characters do stupid things, but it's because of Michael's fear and presence in the town of Haddonfield that it makes them so scared and panicked. And also the themes of that movie is about, how do you react under situations of stress. And I'm just going to say, I really like the characters in this film. All the actors pulled it off. They all worked well off each other. All of them were likable. There wasn't a single character I disliked. All the decisions felt natural, felt like it made sense for their character. Like they have a truck that they can, use to escape, but obviously, through certain events, they can't just hop in it and just drive. So there's something keeping them there. I won't spoil everything, but, and I felt like the thing that was, keeping them there, made perfect sense. I thought the scarecrows looked creepy. They genuinely look horrifying. I mean, they don't show it on this cover, but I think it's on this poster. I could be wrong, but there's an alternate poster of this with the scarecrow. The main antagonist, Scarecrow, has a smile, and chills. That scarecrow is fucking frightening. The scarecrows are awesome in this film. Part of the reason I like scarecrows is because I kind of like that cornfield-esque feel. It's got that fall atmosphere that I really dig. And this film has got that, man. The cinematography is really good. The writing, especially, and the editing, like there's a lot to appreciate in this film that I think a lot of people just kind of like sweep under the rug. I mean, this film does not get any attention, and I'm kind of bummed because this is a film I like to rewatch every year. And even if I'm like on my phone at certain points, because I will be honest, there are some parts that are kind of slow, and because I've seen it so many times, it's just one of those things where it's just like, maybe I'll be on my phone once in a while, but the movie never fails to like keep me engaged, besides like maybe one or two moments, but that's solely because I've seen this film so many times. But I also want to point out that I do think I have some nitpicks. Like, I think, for example, towards the end, the characters wait way too long to just escape. I think at a certain point, there is a point where they're kind of like, okay, you could escape now, but you guys chose to wait out a little bit longer. But I still understand why they chose to do it, but I'm just kind of like, okay, but if I were in that situation, that's just kind of like a nitpick I have. And I've seen other films do that, but it's a nitpick. It's not really a complaint I have with the movie, especially with the characters, if you get what I mean. I also think that the ending is just okay. I mean, without spoiling anything, I think it kind of ends abruptly, but I think I get what they were going for. They were kind of going for that, like, oh, does this happen or does that happen? If you've seen the film or you're planning to watch it, you'll understand what I mean by that. And also, if you're a gore hound, there's not really a lot of like gore or blood. So, I mean, and the film really does have that, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's got that kind of dirty feel to it. Like there's like, when the characters are turning themselves into scarecrows and sewing the mask and, sticking fucking nails into their arms, which was pretty unpleasant. You're kind of like, oh, you're in for like a treat. You're in for like some brutal kills, but they're kind of tame for the most part. I mean, this movie could honestly be passed for like PG-13. All the kills are like off screen for the most part, besides like maybe one or two. Like, I think there's like one kill where it's like a pitchfork or like an axe to the head, but like even then, it's not like that gruesome. It's like if you see the film, or you'll know what I'm talking about. But other than a few like minor issues I have, I mean, this movie gets straight to the point right away, and you're just like you're in it until the very end. And this film is really entertaining. So it's not perfect by any means, but I'm kind of sad this movie doesn't get a lot of recognition. It's a solid Scarecrow horror film. And if you love Scarecrow horror films, definitely recommend checking this one out. It's perfect for fall or October. Just watch it. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I could probably give it a higher grade, but I feel like there's